The Commissioner of Police with a startling connection, and you'll hear it just on one station in the ZNS News exclusive.
The Prime Minister recommits to stomping out crime, especially among young men.
And find out why the former Premier of Bermuda is in town. The Bahamas Tonight starts now.
Now in HD. ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight. This portion of the news brought to you by BTC Every Day.
Police Commissioner Alison Greenslade has confirmed to ZNS News that police intelligence has determined those recent shootings in Montel Heights and DeVoe Streets are connected. Good evening, everyone. I'm Keishla Adderley.
And I'm Andrew Knowles. Thanks for joining us.
Now, although we have spoken on this issue before, the Commissioner spoke with us today, and he isn't mincing words on the state of crime and how it's affecting the country.
In this exclusive interview with our Altaviz Munnings at police headquarters this afternoon, Commissioner Greenslade also gave a stern warning to those taking the law into their own hands.
But I'm not going to sit idly by as a Commissioner of Police and allow isolated incidences between people who are feuding for reasons which they are well aware of to permeate an entire country and to leave a blemish on the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
Police Commissioner Alison Greenslade is specifically referring to the spate of shootings that happened days apart in Montel Heights, DeVoe Street, and East Street South here in New Providence. While Commissioner Greenslade confirmed that two of these matters, or what he called rivalries, are connected, he had stern words for those who believe taking the law into their own hands is the right way to resolve a crime.
They wind up dead or seriously injured, or they kill and seriously injure people. That is a simple statement of fact. We've arrested them before, we will arrest them again, I assure you. As we speak, 3 persons are in custody, and many more will be taken into custody as we move forward to try and resolve these matters. But we cannot resolve them without the cooperation and support of the people that are involved, who must repose their confidence in the Royal Bahamas Police Force.
Now, as we enter the final month of 2013, the country's homicide count reaches triple digits for a third consecutive year. It's an issue the police force isn't taking lightly.
If a person running around our streets with an illegal weapon in his or her hands discharges that weapon and fatally injures someone, and members of the Royal Bahamas Police Force responds, arrest that person, and takes that person before a court of law, if that person within a short space of time is back in our communities, you're going to have to continue to count.
And you may have heard it from the police before. Public cooperation is vital to every investigation because
if a man has a gun in his possession, his entire family sees him with a gun, the neighborhood sees him with a gun, and everyone tells him he's a hero and he can do as he wishes despite the laws of the Bahamas. He discharges the gun, I repeat, and kills someone, or seriously injures them, we arrest him and take him to a court of law. You have to try to help me to understand why in 2 or 3 months I'm having to arrest this man again for another serious crime. Having said that, my commitment to the Bahamian people and to everyone in authority over me is that this commissioner, every member of my executive team, and every officer in this force will be frontline, and we're going to have no tolerance for people who are breaking the law, who intends to break the law and is about to commit crime.
Commissioner Greenslade says he's not going to air an investigation in the media, but it's the job of the force to investigate matters and give people their fair day in court. Altaviz Munnings, ZNS Network News.
Well, with the country's homicide count reaching triple digits and a recent spate of shootings here in the capital, the Prime Minister has been prompted to again speak out on the issue of crime. The Prime Minister has renewed his commitment yesterday to launch a full assault on crime, but he admits no government can make it happen alone and called on residents to help save the nation's youth, particularly our young men.
I am fundamentally opposed to young men who arrogate unto themselves, for whatever reason, the right to go around shooting people. It is wrong, and I will relentlessly every day make an effort to stamp it out. And no government, no prime minister could make this happen. He could talk it. He could put the resources in the hands of the law enforcement officers. He could even strategize with them. But it depends on the extent to which the people of this country, people like you, decide you're going to have a stake in this and you're going to help us fight this.
Now, Prime Minister Christie was speaking to contractors engaged in the Urban Renewal Small Home Repair Program Wednesday. As they begin their work, he even encouraged them to hire young men from the community to involve them in something productive. He added that he can't continue to let the criminal element wreak havoc on society.
Do not believe for one moment any of you could live in comfort in your country if that continues unabated.
Must stop.
It must stop.
Must stop.
And whatever it takes to stop it. And remember this now, because sometimes personal freedoms have to be encroached upon to stop madness. Right now, the police will strategize. It will integrate the defense force into offices and free up more police officers. But no government can stand by and allow this to happen, because no matter where you live in the Bahamas and how much you think it doesn't affect you, it does.
Bahamas Union of Teachers, Officers and Members who participated in a protest outside of Parliament last Wednesday could find themselves facing prosecution.
Director of Labor Robert Farquharson said that from September 2nd to the 25th, the BUT filed 7 trade disputes with the Department of Labor, and another was filed on November 4th, all of which have been referred to the Industrial Tribunal.
Farquharson made the recommendation to the Minister of Labor and National Insurance, as teaching is an essential service, and it was done in accordance with Section 72 of the Industrial Relations Act. He said the union must be mindful of the provisions of 2 other sections of the Industrial Relations Act, however.
It shall not be lawful for any person or any trade union to declare, instigate, incite others to take part or otherwise act in the furtherance of a strike or a lockout when there is not, in relation to the matter in question, a trade dispute in relation to which all conditions of subsection 1 are satisfied. And any person, being an individual who acts in contravention of any division of this section, shall be guilty of an offense and liable on summary conviction to a fine not exceeding $150 or to imprison for a term not exceeding 3 months, or to both such fine and imprisonment.
Now, Farquharson says the grievance the BUT filed with the International Labour Organization was in breach of the Constitution and established ILO protocols. However, he says the government is in the process of responding. As for the union's filing in the Supreme Court due to reduction of salaries of teachers who participated in the September 9th protest, Farquharson says the Ministry of Education has suspended the process.
We want the Bahamian public to know that the Department of Labor remains committed to resolving these matters, and we hope to resolve them very, very quickly.
Well, in your first check of weather, we did have quite a bit of clouds around. The clouds stayed just to the south of the Berry Islands and most of the central Bahamas seeing the cloudy mass. That allowed temperatures to warm up into the upper 70s. Overnight low was around 72, normals around 82 and 70. Right now we have 73 degrees outside our studio. Temperature winds actually out of the northeast, relative humidity at 88%, barometric pressure 30.15 inches, and it is on the rise. A look at your boating forecast, travel weather, and your family island temperatures is still to come.
Well, still ahead tonight, the former premier of Bermuda is in town. Find out why coming up.
And the newest senator takes his seat. You're watching The Bahamas Tonight.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Shell Helix Ultra. Performance you can see.